So today, we're talking about collaboration and really kind of all about how low code is a team sport and a bunch of the new features that are really helping people work together. So basically, very rarely apps are made entirely in a silo. There's definitely a lot of folks at different organizations, like you can think of a citizen developer start working on their own, and maybe they start working with other people, or they get help from their IT folks in order to get the right environment set up and creation experiences so they can go do things properly. Or even they might leverage fancy PCF controls like Brian showed that they use from someone else. So quite frequently, there's actually like teams or different members in different roles all working together to build digital solutions. And really what Gartner calls these, and you'll start to hear this term a lot from Microsoft, I imagine, they're called fusion teams. And so we want to enable more fusion teams and more collaboration across the Power Platform, really because, our whole thing is building business apps fast, or, building video games fast, as it were. But the ability to divide and conquer and have, only one person can only output so much. When you have a team of people, you can do a whole bunch of different stuff and move faster and avoid single points of failure. You can also, with different domain expertise, let people work on what they're passionate about. And so, if I'm a person in the business and I've got a super cool finance background, I can take and leverage all my knowledge about all the different processes and regulations and apply that to the app and kind of like make sure that, all that business knowledge is incorporated. And likewise, in terms of skills, people have trained up on different aspects and different skills over time. Some folks are super familiar with databases or IoT connecting to different devices, or even like UX design. And they should be able to contribute all of these different types of skills towards the project to ultimately create a higher quality app at the end of the day. And so in Microsoft and in Power Apps, we actually see apps that are created by, fusion teams and teams of people have 25% more engagement than apps that are built by those alone. So they tend to have more users and more people using them over time, which is really, really cool. And so just as a heads up, the general shape of a fusion team that we're seeing across organizations is we tend to have like, a core maker team, which is kind of like the train on the tracks. Like this is like the people who are in the weeds of the project. They're the ones who are actually like in the experiences, working on the apps and on the data, and kind of like, identifying the next steps and solving the bugs. And doing everything on the way. But this could be just one citizen dev, this could be two, this could be a multidisciplinary group of individuals. But ultimately, there's also a lot of other folks in the organization that support them, that are kind of like an auxiliary support team. So this could be like other makers in the organization, admins that are helping clearing blockers, leadership that's coming in at different decision points to help, direct the project, or even folks of the community who might jump on a call with you, or you get an answer from, in order to get unblocked and take the next steps. So this is kind of how we're thinking about fusion teams, and we want to really kind of help enable, the way things are already working and the way people are collaborating better in the platform. And so with that, there's, a couple of really exciting announcements of stuff that has been released recently. At Ignite, we announced office-style commenting, and it's across the Power Platform, not just Power Apps, but basically you can add comments and reply to threads and resolve and delete comments and mention people, just like you would across all of the Office products in PowerPoint and Word and Excel, just like that, except in Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent, which is super, super exciting. And so here I have a GIF of the modern app designer where I can go in and add a new comment, and this lives alongside with the app. And so if I have other people coming in and also working on it, I can leave context. I can, leave notes about things that are yet needed to do or cautions. And I can reply to different threads so we can have conversations with each other that stay in the context of the app. And when I'm all done, I can go and resolve the thread and remove them. And you can see on the left-hand side that there's the different anchor points to let me know what items have comments on them. So definitely super exciting, and even more exciting to help people pull in the folks that they need in their organization. You can actually mention people, and they will, be able to get access to the app and go right to where that comment had been made. And so they'll receive an email very much like the Office style, yet still retaining a lot of the Power Platform aspects of it. And if they click that button, they'll go direct into that app where the comment is and be able to collaborate with people. So super, super, super exciting. It's definitely rounding out the collaborative capabilities. And before people ask, so our GA timeframe for the Modern App Designer is just in a couple months in the new year, and then in Canvas App slightly a couple months later. So super, super soon.
Emma, quick question. You said the comments are stored in the solution. Somebody had asked, are these comments stored in the solution? Is there any historical record?
Yeah, so these comments are actually their own table in Dataverse. So all of the comments and their anchors are in the Dataverse table. So you can actually go and, audit and see all the comments and everything like that.
Cool. Very cool.
Awesome. So that's it for comments. I hope folks are excited about trying that out. And in terms of whether it is stored in Dataverse, but we're actively working on making sure that that's not a blocker for core collaboration functionality. And so that it won't be an issue for too much longer. Currently, right now, this feature is reliant on Dataverse, and hopefully soon we'll be able to figure out a way to enable that for everyone. So switching gears over to co-authoring. So everyone on this call is probably familiar with this dialogue if you're working with other folks on an app, where currently there's only one person allowed in at a time. And it can be very frustrating and limiting in terms of helping people work together. And so really, something really exciting is that at Ignite, we announced experimental co-authoring for Power Apps. And so we're going to talk a little bit about it, do a quick demo, and yeah, that'll be super good. So there's a blog and some docs that kind of walk through how to do this and have all the latest details on how to get set up, what the current known limitations are, and everything like that. Cool. So basically how this experimental co-authoring works is kind of like our traditional software development, where you essentially are each working on a copy of the app, and then you intentionally decide when you want to merge. So basically I would work in app 1 and I wouldn't see, what Brian's working on in his copy of the same app, but I can, select when I want to merge, and my changes would kind of go to the master branch or source control. And I would also be able to fetch any changes that Brian has made there as well. And so this relies on the YAML interpretation for Canvas apps. And so here's the GIF that was in the blog, but we'll take a look in what it looks like and how to set it up in demo. So Emily on the left, John on the right. You can go, Emily adds, a label and updates things. Notice that this is the exact same studio experience except for one little refresh button. So everyone can use the same tools that they're used to. So they can go, if John goes and presses refresh, he's able to get the Hello World label and information from the repo that Emily worked on, and he can go and make changes and, then commit them. And when Emily goes and, does the same refresh, she can fetch all the changes that John has made. And so if we go and look in DevOps, we can go see, the screen as well as like who made what changes that are there. So really super powerful to be able to have the kind of same experience and tools we're used to building apps to do most of the work, but also have the same kind of Git-powered integration aspects to see and manage all of the changes on the back end. And so it doesn't have to be DevOps. It could be GitHub or Bitbucket or any Git provider. But this is certainly a very exciting step for us. And so to quick jump over to the demo, I'm short on time, so we'll go quick.
You're okay.
Okay.
You can go like at least another 8 minutes.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure I'm a good participant. So this is the docs that everyone can have access to. And so here you can see like there's all the different steps and screenshots and everything for doing this. I wanted to call that out because it's not just this call that you will see it on. There's other documentation to help you through and get set up. And so over to our app. So this is a net new app. So in order to kind of get started, the first thing you need to do is to save the app. So make sure you save it and it's saved. And then from here on, I can go to settings and upcoming features, experimental, and I can like search Git. And so there'll be this setting that I need to turn on. So basically, I turn this on and I get a new kind of section in our settings where I can go set up my Git version control. And so here I can go and hit connect, and I need to fill out everything for a Git repository. So I would put my URL here, what branch I want, and the name of the directory that would be in the repo. And so I have an app where I've set this up already, but once you kind of set this up and hit apply, the app will then be connected to that repo, and all the changes that will be made when you hit commit will go there. And so if I go to the app where I've already done this, here we have our hello button, and I have another screen where I've just added a list really quickly. So that's what it looks like. And if I've just gone and connected it to this repo, experimental Git 123, we can see that on screen 1, I have my hello button, as well as on screen 2. I have all of the different sets of controls that are on screen 2. And so now if I go back to the app, we can go and add something new, just a label, and I can say, hello, community. Apparently I have caps on. That's great. There we go. And we can just hit save or the commit button. And if we go back to our Git over here and refresh the page, or it's actually already there, we can see that it says hello community with all of the different properties that I've set available right there in Git. And so if multiple people were working on this, we would be able to see everybody who's done this and be able to see exactly what changes and everything that they've made. And so super exciting stuff. So this is just kind of like the beginning bits of how you can see all of this co-authoring stuff coming together. Definitely just the start, because there's definitely some known limitations around how that's actually working. And so Some things are like the PCF components are still kind of iffy. So that's definitely one known limitation that we're currently working through. And in the future, we don't want it to be just Canvas apps. We want it to be entire solutions and everything across the Power Platform, able to have multiple people working on it and have that kind of source control view. But today we're starting off with Canvas because we have a lot to learn here is the big part. And that's part of why we wanted to put it in experimental. Co-authoring is definitely a super challenging area to go and build around, and especially knowing, how we should handle merge conflicts, what UI set of UI is needed, how, low code, no code can we be with this type of co-authoring and get integration. In all of the Office products today, they are very opinionated and they pick a winner if there's a merge conflict. And currently we're doing that too. There is no merge conflict resolution. It's the last person wins. But we know we probably have to introduce some capabilities there in order to help people address those conflicts. And so I guess like the call to action for this would be, come and tell us about, if you try it out, tell us about your experience, what issues you've run into. We definitely want to continue working and making this great and able to be something useful for everyone. And in the future, we want to have, real-time co-authoring just the same way that you would use in Office. So you're able to see who else is there at the same time, see what changes they make. They can see what changes you're making. And so like the first phase will be multiple viewers where multiple people can get in and view, but, we don't handle any of the edits gracefully. And then we will add in the co-editing capabilities for this. So kind of making sure that everyone, this is, a multiplayer game, everyone can come in and see who's there and collaborate together. And it's definitely a super exciting space. And so like I pulled this quote. I couldn't find who like the original origins of the proverb, but like alone I go faster, together we go further. And I would probably say with the Power Platform, we go together further and faster. And so, thank you so much for coming and kind of like spending the time to hear a little bit about collaboration. I am happy to take a look at the chat and answer any questions now because I was not really able to keep up on it while I was presenting. So thank you, everyone.
Emma,
Thank you, Emma. These are great things. A couple questions right off the bat that I've got saved here, and then we can jump into wrapping up the call. A couple of folks, Phil asked, are there other pre-requirements for co-authoring? I'm not seeing this in our tenant.
Yeah, so right now it is currently rolling out to folks. I can double check the kind of like deployment rollout because around the holidays it gets a little weird because people are out, and so I can double check when it will be everywhere for everyone.
Cool. The second one was kind of an observation Matt had. We were talking about this yesterday together too. Do you have a recommendation regarding co-authoring? For instance, would you recommend that I edit one page while Matt's editing another page in there? Or do you say, go have at it and edit everything together?
So I think when people think about co-authoring, they're always worried that everyone's going to edit the same things and step on each other's toes in that way. But really, if you think about other cases where we have co-authoring, like if we're in, PowerPoint, for example, and we're all jamming together on a slide deck, you tend to naturally avoid where other people are working on things because you even in PowerPoint, you can go and edit the same slide at the same time, but even then we tend not to, right? Because we want to kind of like coordinate that. And so I would say like, in terms of recommendations, we see most people kind of divide things up at the screen level today. If they're kind of like collaborating on different, sets of UI and controls and stuff, we tend to see people, naturally divide at the screen level. So like that works. I would say like if you're working together on the same, properties at the same time, like probably not great.
Right.
So you might want to coordinate a little with each other there.
Cool. Awesome. That's some great stuff. I have a lot more questions here too. I'll let you get to the ones in chat there, but I think I'll hit you with a follow-up email later today if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to follow up with anyone. This is all brand new, so I'm sure there's a lot of questions.
Right, especially when it's in that experimental phase still. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Emma. And come back again, please. We always have great features you're working on.
Sure thing.